Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I'm just checking my Score app here right now. I believe, it's Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern against England. Let's just talk about the Score for a second, James. We did work on the same network, but my accent's a little different than yours. What led you to Canada and being on that flagship, wonderful television network, the Score?
Yeah, wasn't it? I still miss it to this day, actually. You know, the vibe we had there. Young, we were cheap, but, we just tried stuff, right? We were given an opportunity to try things, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work. But, I think we all learned so much. I came here way back when, 1990, Canada, with the family move. Went to school here, university, and then as I left, the Score, or then it was called Headline Sports, was just launching. I jumped in there, and they figured, hey, the kid's got an accent. He must know international sports, right? And I nodded, yep, sure. And I began producing the sports, and then eventually I moved into the on-air role there, and I haven't looked back. So it's been a long time now, 24 years, 25 years since the Score first launched, and still some of the fondest moments of my career, that's for sure.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
The CFL's unfairly maligned for lack of loyalty and player turnover. We saw it with the NFL last year in the quarterback carousel. Now the NHL. When you sit back and watch the games, no matter the league, you get over it pretty quickly, don't you?
You do, but you still don't have that identity with the players. Like, players that bounce around from team to team to team to team to team don't have an identity and don't build that real core fan base.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show, broadcasting live from the West Palm Beach Hilton and the roofclean.com Boca Raton Bowl. We are poolside, and these are the kinds of days that make you happy to be alive. As we welcome in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, our co-host. You're only going to see him for one segment today, Darren Moose DuPont. Hey, Moose, happy Tuesday. How you doing, Governor?
I'm doing great. Welcome back. How was the birthday weekend?
It was fantastic. It was 3 days away in the Florida Keys. She took me to a place that didn't have any live television. I'm willing to do it for 3 days, not for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I'm ready to be back talking sports today. In the Boca Raton Bowl tonight, we've got a very special guest. Joey York is going to be joining us. He is the broadcaster for the Liberty Flames, ESPN television, former coach, former CFLer with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Montreal Alouettes. You'll look him up, and it'll say Joe York. But to us, he's always Joey. And he's okay with that. He's okay. We all Rider fans remember him. CFL fans remember him from the 90s. He's on set here, just enjoying a late breakfast. We got a lot of friends and family here. Serena Taylor's going to be with us in hour two because, as you pointed out, Bet Regal has some updated NHL odds, some prop bets. And we were talking about that, Darren, just before we went to air. And Joey's like, I can talk hockey. Of course he can. He's lived in Canada long enough. So he's going to be with us for an hour. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of CFL and Canadian connections to the Liberty Flames. Ken Austin just left Liberty like 10 minutes ago. He's not going to be coaching them tonight, offensive coordinator. We'll get into all of that with Joey when he joins us next segment. Can you please, is it Director Jordan in there right now? Hit the quick six show horn and we'll get ready to roll. Thank you, guys. Well, we're going to talk about all the other topics before we move on to the Boca Raton Bowl. Number one, even though we like to open with NHL leftovers, I want to talk about Monday Night Football. A.J. Dillon ran for 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown pass to Aaron Jones. And the Green Bay Packers kept their NFL playoff hopes afloat with a 24-12 victory over the L.A. Rams on Monday Night Football. Rodgers went 22 of 30 for 229 yards and a touchdown and a pick to win his 9th straight Monday Night Football start. And I want to ask you this as the football guy in the house, Darren. How long ago was it they were saying the Packers are going to miss the playoffs and Aaron should be shut down and go with Jordan Love and this will be his last year in Green Bay, and now they're talking playoff. Like, where were you on his performance last night and where the Packers are going this year?
Well, yeah, and for Rodgers, you mentioned the 9 straight Monday Night Football game wins. That's Aaron, right? And not always in the big stage because he struggled in the playoffs the last few years. But, it was funny. He was lighthearted in his post-game news conference, and he said, look, what did you guys say? We needed 5? Well, we got 2. And we need a lot of things to go our way. And for the most part, they've all gone our way. So, you know what? We're still alive. We're still kicking. Look, ESPN was running the odds all morning. The odds of the Packers making the playoffs as it stands today is 12%. 12%. They're still probably not making it, but they're still alive. And if there's one thing you and I know about guys like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady is you don't count them out. And the moment you start counting them out, that's the moment they start digging in their heels a little bit. So you know what? They were saying it's still a long shot, but I would imagine that will fuel Aaron Rodgers. And they've got a fairly nice schedule coming up. I think they'll be okay. They do have some tough games, but it'll be fun to watch.
The most important games are still to come, and this is a very exciting time in the National Football League. But that closes the week on Week 15. And point 2 of our Quick Six show topics is simply this. USA Today came down with their Week 16 power rankings. And I want to say they're exactly the same top 5 as you had last week, I think. And actually, I think in the same order. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4, San Francisco 49ers. And number 5, the Buffalo Bills. Those were all the same as you, were they not?
The only thing that changed is I had Dallas, I think, at number 5.
Good point. And they lost to Jacksonville, so they don't deserve to be in there anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, I go along with that top 5 right now.
Okay, we're going to move to hockey other than. In theaters now, Landmark Cinemas all across Canada, a proud partner of the Rod Pedersen Show. Landmark Cinemas, Violent Night. When a team of mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage, the team isn't prepared for a surprise combatant, Santa Claus, played by David Harbour. He's on the grounds and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. Violent Night in theaters now at Landmark Cinemas. I move on to point 3, and it is NHL leftovers on this Tuesday. Mike Hoffman's 7th goal of the NHL season, 68 seconds into overtime, lifted the visiting Montreal Canadiens to a 3-2 victory over the Coyotes at Mullet Arena. Cole Caulfield and Christian Dvorak also scored for the Canadiens. Jordan Kyrou scored 3 times Monday night and added a helper as the St. Louis Blues stung the Canucks 5-1 in Vancouver. The Blues are hot, but they still need a stepladder to see a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to make it, Moose. I'm going rapid fire through these NHL games last night. Alexander Carrier scored at 2:12 of overtime to give the Nashville Predators a 4-3 victory over the visiting Edmonton Oilers. That one I watched. You would have thought it was a funeral procession going into the game in Nashville. The Preds were 0-4-2 in their prior 6 starts, but they put up a big fight against the Oilers. Matt Duchene, Matthias Ekholm, and Jordan Gross also scored for Smashville. UC Soros made 31 saves. For the Oil, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had 2. Jesse Puljujarvi also scored for the Oilers. They've lost 3 in a row. Alexander Gorgia had 26 saves through overtime and stopped 2 more in the shootout to lift the Avalanche to a 1-0 win over the Islanders. And then a couple other games. Ovi didn't score in Washington's 4-3 win over Detroit. Boston spanked Florida 7-3. That was a Craig McTavish pulled their pants down and game a spanking thing in Boston last night for the Cats. And Buffalo beat Las Vegas 3-2. What I'm saying, Darren, coming out of that busy Monday night slate was, what have we learned about the NHL so far this season? If I may go first, I would say absolutely nothing. If Buffalo can go into Vegas and win, and St. Louis can come sweep Western Canada, what's going on?
I know. I would say what we've learned is the NHL, more than ever, feels like it's wildly unpredictable. And Mike Richards came on the show yesterday, and thank him for coming on with me, but he said, I never bet on hockey. Can't bet on hockey because I never know what's going to happen. I can't tell you what's going to happen. And I agree. Like, it's so unpredictable, these games. And even when teams get up in games, no lead is safe anymore, which is a good thing for the game that it's unpredictable like that, I think.
Yeah, that part is all true. And then the other thing is the Seattle Kraken continue to be in a playoff spot. I talked about it in my commentary today at rodpeterson.com and Sask Radio. I saw them come back and embarrass the Flames. It was 4-2 Flames over Seattle after 2 periods in the Saddledome about a month ago. I'm like, they got this one. I was sitting with my friend Tammy, come home, and I'm like, what? Kraken came back and won 5-4. They completely smothered and extinguished the Florida Panthers here 2 Sundays ago in this town. And again, what have we learned? We've learned absolutely nothing other than stay tuned as we get close to the Christmas break here in the National Hockey League. Point 4, place line, Moncton, New Brunswick. In the first of 3 test runs before the World Junior Men's Hockey Championship opens next week, Canada cruised past Switzerland 6-0 at the Avenir Center on Monday night. Shane Wright paced Canada's attack with 2 goals and a helper. Singles came from Joshua Roy, Nathan Gaucher, Olin Zellweger, and Brennan Othman. Connor Bedard had 3 assists, while Zach Dean and Dylan Genther chipped in with 2. Thomas Millick recorded the shutout. That just makes my heart warm. Canada won 6-0. Bedard proved that he can be a setup guy, not just a trigger man. Now, it was against Switzerland, so we get that. But it sounds like a perfect game to me, Moose.
It does. It really does. Getting your big guns going. Genther on the assist, train. He's going to be a guy who's, you're going to rely on him to score some goals. But having Shane Wright and Connor Bedard get going, I think, is really important early on, and developing some chemistry between those two. I think they were playing on Canada's top line yesterday and expecting to open the tournament together. Shane Wright being named the captain of Team Canada, and I think that's all really positive. And it's just about building momentum now, creating chemistry and building some momentum towards Boxing Day.
Yes, and speaking of that, before we move on to a few other things, Stephen Ellis watching from the Hockey News in Toronto. He says, I'm jealous of Rod's location. Well, Stephen, get on a plane and get down here. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You're a hockey guy from the Hockey News. He was with us at the World Jays in Edmonton. Well, you weren't there, Moose. But Stephen
right.
came on with us. He's a good guy. Come on down here. Elam Wilson says, Canada looks good. Can't wait for the World Juniors to start. And thank you for getting us back on track with that. We have a World Juniors special so nice, we're going to air it twice. Darren, take over and tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, you're going to be really excited for this one. We're going to air this on Friday as our True World Junior special. If you missed it, we're going to air it again on the 27th, the day after Boxing Day. Get you set for the rest of the tournament, get you lined up for Team Canada. We have, and you'll fill in if I missed anybody, Julie Rolbenheimer, NHL Radio, Elite Prospects, Sam Cosentino of Sportsnet's coming on. Peter Labardius is going to be part of that show. Serena Taylor is going to be part of the show. And Team Canada assistant coach Brett Kissio will be part of the show as well. And we'll go through the entire roster and get you set for this game, look at the other teams. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It airs the next 2 Fridays, our World Junior special here on Game Plus Network, WQ. Oh, it's Friday and Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Clark. Friday and Tuesday on WQEE, Game Plus Network, and YouTube Live. And I'm going to tell you, it's all that you need to know to get you ready for this tournament. It's not really a preview, but it's just talk about the tournament. And I'll say it again, one day I'll get my mind around this, but the highest ratings we've ever had were in August at the World Juniors in Edmonton. It was 33 degrees Celsius outside. I don't know what that computes to in Fahrenheit. It's in the 90s, and our biggest ratings were that. I can't figure it out, but I love it. Elam Wilson, who is in Winnipeg watching, I believe, says, I appreciate you guys doing that show. Looking forward to it. It's this Friday and then next Tuesday. From some of our viewers writing in, because we are the most interactive show on television and radio, Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, we're rocking around the Christmas tree with the RP show. Merry Christmas, Rod, Darren Clark, and the entire Rod squad. Merry Christmas to you, Jacko. From Stephen Jacobson, he writes that he says, greetings and hallucinations from cold Minot, North Dakota. My question is, how much snow will North Dakota, Minnesota get with the Vikings in the playoffs? Super Bowl win means hell's frozen over. We'll get to the NFL talk with Joey Yock when he joins us next. We got a lot to get to with him over the next hour. It is about day 14 of our NHL Reverse Retro jersey bracket. We're still in round one, right, Moose? But we're getting to the end of it. And today, the crew have decided to pit Pittsburgh up against Philadelphia. We have the jerseys. Clark's going to throw them up on the screen here. These are this year's Reverse Retro. They're both very hot. Mm-hmm. And I would say, what do you think of when you look at each one? I think of Mario Lemieux when I look at the Penguins. And for the Flyers, every time I see a Flyers jersey, I generally think of Bobby Clark. But I can throw a Bill Barber in there too. Maybe a Tim Kerr. I'm voting for Philly, but that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Yesterday, the San Jose Sharks won. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks. That was a dirty one you threw at the viewers yesterday, Moose. Those were two very sexy jerseys. And I saw that San Jose came out on top. Yeah.
That was really tough one yesterday. And it was so close. I think Chicago was winning on Twitter, but San Jose was winning at rodpedersen.com, and it was pretty tight on YouTube. So after we compiled them all, San Jose ended up with the win. I like Pittsburgh's in this one just by a hair, but I'm with you. Lemieux, Jagger, and Francis I think of. And then I think of Eric Lindros with the Philly ones, because that would have been the reverse of the black with the striping that they wore for a little bit, I think late 90s. So for me, it's that. And we only have one left. So I believe tomorrow will be our last jersey poll for round one. We'll neatly put a bow on round one and start round two in the new year. And it should be Winnipeg, Colorado tomorrow.
Whoa, almost saving the best for last. And I can't remember. I guess I'll wait until tomorrow. But the last time the reverse retros for Colorado was Quebec. Is that what it is again this year? I never really noticed the blue and white.
No, it's the C
Nordiques
from the C, the circle.
Colorado? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Why not, right? Just sell more jerseys. What the heck? Anyways, you can vote over the next 24 hours. You can vote on Twitter for that. This is the last segment for Moose, so I don't know what else you'd like to throw out. I will talk about the Boca Raton Bowl next segment and tee that up for you when Joey Yock joins us from Liberty University, former Rough Rider, Ticat, and Alouette. There are 8 games in the NHL tonight, including the Flames at San Jose, Leafs home to Tampa Bay. In the dub tonight, PA's at Saskatoon, Medicine Hats at Lethbridge, Edmonton's at Red Deer, Victoria is at Vancouver, and Kamloops is at Kelowna. College football tonight, 2 bowl games. We mentioned the roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl down here in South Florida, but the famous Idaho Potato Bowl goes tonight as well, Eastern Michigan versus San Jose State. So I'll leave you with that, Moose. The floor is yours. What are your last words here?
Yeah, I was huddled around the TV last night, thinking it was going to be a perfect night in Washington for Alexander Ovechkin to get 801 and maybe 802. Mark and Marty Howe were both in the building as it was Detroit playing Washington in Washington. The scene was all set for it to be perfect. It didn't happen. Washington ended up winning the game, but Ovechkin didn't hit the score sheet. They even interviewed Mark and Marty on the intermission show. So we kind of sit now and wait. They don't play tonight, but we'll wait and continue to keep on Ovi watch for 801. To me, that's my biggest storyline here in the holidays.
I love that you are so into this. Why are you so into this? Are you into this because Alan May is broadcasting the games, your new friend, or would you normally have been into this?
Have hard eyes for Alan May? Is that kind of, yeah. Partly, sure. But I think it's cool, it's history. So it's just like, the baseball fans were getting into the Aaron Judge race, every day, or it feels a little bit like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. It's just a piece of history. And I feel like I just want to be watching when it happens.
Good. Well, hopefully you will be. If you watch every game, I'm pretty sure that you will. All right, Moose, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm.
Thank you. Enjoy the Boca Raton Bowl.
Absolutely, the Boca Raton Bowl coverage continues after this when Joey Yock joins us of the Liberty Flames broadcast crew. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and on the radio in Metro Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Hour one continues live from the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. We're broadcasting from the West Palm Beach Hilton, about 20 miles up the road from Boca Raton, Florida. We're very pleased to be joined here, I guess we'd say in our broadcast booth, by Joey York, former CFLer. He's a broadcaster with Liberty University. I got the whole preview tonight of the Boca Raton Bowl. It's Toledo up against Liberty University. There's a huge connection, I feel, Joey, between the CFL, the Liberty Flames. I'll put you right up close to that thing there. Okay. I know you know your way around a microphone. Yeah. But it's on ESPN tonight, national television. I believe it's on TSN all across Canada. It's a big
on
deal.
TSN
I believe it is. Yes.
Awesome.
From what I saw. Now, it'd take 40 minutes for you to talk about the road to get here. But what would be your thumbnail sketch of this game tonight? Why people should get jacked for it?
I mean, first of all, thank you for having me on the Rod Pedersen Show.
My
Are
pleasure.
you kidding me?
Of course.
Are you kidding? Let's fist pump that all day long. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the Rod Pedersen Show, and I love it, man. It's all the Canadians back in Saskatoon, back in Winnipeg and Edmonton. You know, those are all the spots that I lived in.
Well, we should talk
Montreal.
about that. Yeah, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and Montreal. What was it 2.5 seasons with Hamilton, two in Sask?
Yeah,
and one in Montreal.
And one in Montreal, yeah.
Yeah, and then but Joey 6 seasons in the CFL. But your dad,
he's the real guy you should be talking about, not me. That's for sure.
Stud, Ray Yawk. You said he's 84 now?
84 years old now, yeah.
Folks, go look up Ray Yawk on Wikipedia right now. It's this long. The guy's a baller, man. And maybe let's start there for our viewers that would know Ray, coached across the CFL. He's doing well, you said?
He's doing real well. He lives back in Mendota, Illinois, the same hometown that he was born and raised in, and retired and is doing very well. But, yeah, he had it was fun growing up in Canada and being around. He was head coach at Edmonton, head coach at Winnipeg, and then we moved down to the States. When I was 12, he was the head coach of the Washington Federals of the old USFL. But I had quite a storied CFL career, and I was fun going to those old games back in Clark Stadium. Remember that? In Edmonton, of course,
Clark
Stadium.
Tiny little thing.
Yeah, it's at Clark Stadium, and then in Winnipeg, and so no, it was a blast.
Well, and that's the thing. I think people wonder why is this show going to broadcast live from the Boca Raton Bowl? It's more about the football stories and the Yawk family than it is Liberty and Toledo. Trust me, we got a lot of stories to get to here. But I looked you up, and I told you, I started on Rider broadcast in 1991 when I was 18 years of age. So I remember your time, Joey, but I forgot that you got drafted by Hamilton. And I thought, what's your Canadian status?
Yeah. So no, I was considered a Canadian player, and I got drafted by John Gregory. And I know John Gregory, remember, just passed away.
Yes,
actually. And so John, it's a funny story. So I'm playing for North Carolina. All right, now in the Tar Heels of North Carolina, I'm a huge Tar Heel fan, played there. And we're on spring break. And let's say the boys and I went out and we might have had a few too many wobbly pops, right? And so we got into those pretty hard. And the next morning, I get a phone call, and it's John Gregory with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I still had a year of eligibility left. And so John says to me, Joey, we're thinking about drafting you right now as our first pick, right? If we do that, would you come out early and play? And I said, well, maybe. I'll think about it, right? And that was about it. And then about 20 minutes later, I got a phone call, and it was John Gregory again. He said, well, we did it. We drafted you. And I was going into my 5th year at North Carolina. I was redshirted and had started for 3 years with them, was going into my 5th year. And decided, you know what? My childhood dream, watching my dad and my brothers, and my brother actually was playing in Canada in the CFL at that time also, was to play in the CFL. All my childhood heroes were Rick House and Joe Popolowski and Dieter Brock and Ron Este and, all those guys that I was in the locker room
Swamp
with.
Dog, Joe Pop.
Yeah. So all those, And so long story short, I ended up signing with Hamilton that year and went and played for the Ticats.
But then your real dream happened when you came to Saskatchewan, let's be honest.
Yes. The old Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Right.
The best football town in all of Canada.
Yeah, talk about that, what you remember. And your dad was the coach. How was it playing for your dad?
Well, here's a funny story, too. My dad, I'm playing for Hamilton, and, oh, gosh, what was that head coach? They fired Gregory halfway through the season.
Oh, Don Matthews.
No, it wasn't Don Matthews. It was.
They had Gregory.
We
might need your help on these stories.
Come on, Ash. Who was the old D coordinator, and then he became a head coach. He was famous D coordinator
in Sask.
He was in Hamilton.
Don Southern.
Don Southern.
Yeah,
there
Sudsy.
it was. Sudsy. Don Southern. So Don, they fired Gregory and they made Don the head coach, and so. One day I got a call a couple weeks, after this all happened, and getting ready to go to practice, and equipment guy comes out and he says, Joey, Sudsy wants to see you in his office. And so, Sudsy wants to see me? What the heck? So I go, that's never a good call. Right? That's not the call you want. And so I walk in Sudsy's office, and he says, hey, I traded you. And I said, traded me? Like, where did you trade? So, well, I was going to trade you to Toronto, but I really didn't want to play and trade in the same division, right? So I called your dad up. And he was the head coach of Saskatchewan, and he said, yeah, let's make a deal. And so he traded for me, and I ended up going out to Saskatchewan and playing there a year and a half.
But Kent Austin, Serena was asking if you played with Kent. He was gone.
No, he was gone. Kent was gone.
Yeah.
Kent was gone.
Those were some long years in Sask, as I recall.
Well, we actually had some pretty good teams. We made the playoffs. My first year there, I had a good. I think they finished like 11. We finished like 11-7 and did pretty decent. And then the next year we weren't very good. We got beat by. Well, that's when Flutie was at Calgary, and so we got beat by Flutie in the playoffs, and we're at Calgary.
By the way, Phil Kershaw's watching, and he writes in, former chairman of the CFL board of directors. He says, or
Phil Kershaw.
Phil's watching. He says the Boca Raton Bowl is on TSN2 at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific.
You know what? George Costanza's parents would say about this?
Coming.
It's Boca, baby. We're going to Boca.
How many times have you said that?
A lot. I've said it a lot. We're going to Boca. Remember that episode?
Of course.
Yeah, when Seinfeld, he said that he moved to Boca just to spite Jerry's parents. We're going to be on the shuffleboard court. Wherever you go, you're going to see us.
See, at some point, we're going to talk football today. Trust me.
We'll get to football.
But
hey, this is going to be a good football game. But
I'm not yet. I'm not there yet.
Keep going, Rob. We got more stories.
Pickleball.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, get the ring the bell.
Calgary Stampeders.
Calgary Stampeders, eh?
Yeah.
It's great.
Well,
awesome.
let's talk about it. You were the world's, or at least West Palm's best pickleball player today.
Yeah, Barbara and I, 86-year-old Barbara and I today, we mopped him up.
Bush?
No, it wasn't Barbara Bush. But Barbara, she was quick as a cat. Let's just say that. She was quick as a cat. And no, we had fun today playing pickleball. But back home in Lynchburg, well, pickleball is blowing up. And so I started my own pickleball league. And I got 4 courts at my house. And we got the JPL, the Yacht Pickleball League. And it's the
you
real.
Make the rules. Let me guess.
My title is CEO. Here's my title: CEO / head barkeep. Those are my 2 titles. So I'm in charge of the league. We got 18 members, and man, we don't mess around. This is a highly competitive. And then I serve the drinks, and we have a full meal afterwards every Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night under the light. You know what the name of our court is?
What?
Hell's Half Acre.
I bet. Well, are you the youngest person in the league?
No, yeah, it's great range. You got some younger guys than us, but younger guys than me. But we also got a couple. Hey, backdoor buddy Moore, backdoor buddy with King of the Lob Shot, 74 years old. Doug E. Fresh, we like to call him, 71 years old. Unbelievable pickleball players. But then we got guys that are like 32 years old. So Rod's over here trying to tell me that pickleball is just an old man's game. That's not true. It's just not true anymore.
They welcome
Rod.
old women too.
It's just not true anymore. I'll get you out there.
I'd love to. Yeah.
I heard you're what, 50 years old, right?
Just turned.
Just turned
yes,
50.
Sir. Yeah.
I mean, Rod, you and I together on the pickleball court, danger.
I got the long reach.
You got long reach. We would kill them. All these old timers out of here, it'd be nights out.
So
go to bed, Betty. We don't need you.
We got some. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, watching, 2-time Grey Cup champion. From Regina. He says, Boca is such a great area. And I'm looking forward to the game tonight. We'll talk about that. I got my ticket. I'm not going to be in the press box. I want to sit with the crowd. It was only $32 to sit in the end zone.
Okay.
And we have, what do we got in this segment? We have 4 minutes in this segment. We have a lot to get to with Joe Yock, obviously. But I see you guys started Liberty as 4-point favorites last week. It swung to Toledo's 4.5.
Yeah.
What changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the coaching uncertainty at Liberty, with Hugh Freeze leaving and going to Auburn, and then Ken Austin was the offensive coordinator, and Ken has left, and so in these bowl games, that's a big deal because you're used to calling the plays. One guy's calling plays. You have a system set up. Liberty had a really good season. They had some huge wins this year, and then they sort of puttered out at the end and lost the last 3. And then on top of that, have that change. And Toledo's a good football team. I mean, they're a very athletic, good football team. So, I think that's what you saw, the point swing. However, with that being said, I do, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Liberty homer. I've taken a lot of time to study film and look at both teams, and I do like Liberty in this game.
Well, what about the coaching uncertainty, which I meant to get into earlier? You hired the Coastal Carolina coach, right, Jamie Chadwell, but he's not coaching.
Not coaching this game. No. He's out recruiting. He's trying to make sure that he seals up all the recruits that had already committed and some new ones that potentially come in. So that's a great hire for Liberty. A great hire. I mean, Jamie Chadwell. Liberty's a unique place. It's the largest Christian university in the world, I believe, and definitely in the nation. And it takes a certain type of person to be there and a certain type of fit. And Jamie Chadwell, as a football coach, checks as a box. From a faith-based school, checks a box. I think he's going to come. What he's done at Coastal is amazing. absolutely amazing. And so I don't know if you've ever been to Liberty before.
Not yet, but we're going, right, Ash?
Yeah. Okay, so Liberty, you're going to go there. It's going to blow your mind. It is. I always like to say they pull a Brinks truck up into there every morning and just drop the money off. And they have a huge online school, second largest online school in the nation behind the University of Phoenix. And so they've been able to really have make a lot of money through that. And then they've got a great on-campus, and they've built the best facilities. Everything is state-of-the-art. Everything is brand new. Everything on campus, brand new indoor football facility, brand new football operations complex. The stadium is beautiful, and everything that they do there is absolutely first class. They have an unlimited amount of resources, and so that's why you've seen them. I think they're the first team to make the jump from FCS to FBS and go to a bowl game their first 3 seasons in FBS and win all 3 bowl games, and now they're going for a 4th. So it's impressive what they've done there in a short time. And when you take a coach like Jamie Chadwell and you bring him on with those facilities and what he did at Coastal, what he did at Charleston Southern, I think they hit a home run with him.
So that's scratching the surface of what's going to go on tonight. We've got more Ken Austin stories, Hugh Freeze stories, what they've done at Liberty, some CFL stuff, and I promise, Joey, we will talk hockey because
let's talk a little hockey.
So we'll be right back to the Hilton West Palm Beach and the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl after this. You're watching on Game Plus Television, live streaming on YouTube.
It's Boca, baby.
Yeah, your favorite podcast platform at WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
RP Show continues live from the roofquinn.com Boca Raton Bowl. We are live from the Hilton, West Palm Beach. And before we have more with Joe Yock of the Liberty Flames, a sports update. Swift Current Broncos forward Josh Philbin has been named WHL Player of the Week. The New Jersey Devils prospect from Winnipeg led all WHL skaters with 7 goals this past week while becoming the first Dub player to score 6 times in a game since 2009. Seattle Thunderbirds goalie Scott Retzlaff has been named WHL Goalie of the Week. A B-rated prospect for the NHL draft this summer. He was 3-0 last week with a 1.00 goals against. Tom Browning, an all-star pitcher who threw the only perfect game in Cincinnati Reds history and helped them win the 1990 World Series, has died. He was 62. No cause was given. And Lionel Messi and his Argentine teammates were greeted by hundreds of thousands of soccer fans as they arrived in Buenos Aires early this morning following the country's World Cup win in Qatar. The players were welcomed by rock band La Mosca singing Muchachos, an unofficial anthem for Argentine fans. I wonder if it's related to Angie Mosca. La Mosca is the name of the band. Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of old CFL names, Joe Yock joining us here from the Liberty Flames. And I don't know where to start. I feel like I just want to talk about
go back to the guy who scored. Did that guy score 6 goals in one game?
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
That's a double hattie, eh?
Double hattie.
It's a double hattie, eh?
Oh, you really are on your hockey game. You weren't joking.
No, take off. That's a double hattie, eh? Too easy, eh?
How about that?
When's the last time you watched Strange Brew?
Boys, now you're really going to get me going, Ron. My brother told me that drowning beer would be like being in heaven. Well, I got 2 soakers. This ain't heaven. This sucks.
Strange Brew.
It's a Strange Brew classic.
We're going to have a Canadian night here coming up. We're going to air Strange Brew and have poutine. Do you want to come?
Let's go. I'll fly back for that.
It's going to be in Parkland, Florida, by the way.
That.
Ethan's putting it on. Now, I want to read this. You can tell me that it's if it's true or not. Liberty, 8-4 Liberty Flames seeking their 4th straight bowl victory. Hugh Freeze left as head coach earlier this month to accept a job at Auburn. Coastal Carolina head coach Jamie Chadwell was hired to replace Freeze, but has not been part of bowl preparations. Co-defensive coordinator Josh Aldridge will coach the game tonight against Toledo in the Boca Raton Bowl. We know all of that, but was it contentious with Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin leaving? How did that go down?
Yeah, I'll be honest. The honest question, the answer to that is yes, it was, because. And this is the problem. I was actually we were on the broadcast for the game. They were playing New Mexico State, and there were rumors circling that Hugh was going to leave and go to Auburn, but he was really playing us. And you have to. I mean, you can't just come. Oh yeah, I'm talking to so and so. Like this is like it's hard. It puts him in a difficult position. But long story short was it was 2 hours before the game. They're getting ready to play in New Mexico, and Pete Thamel with ESPN. Broke the story that Hugh Freeze has accepted the job at Auburn University. So they're in the locker room an hour before the game, and it's on Twitter. And so the players see it. Well, the players call him out before the game starts, and they're like, hey, what's going on here?
Coach, are you leaving?
Yeah, Coach, you leaving? And he doesn't deny it, but he doesn't, so he gets caught in the middle, like, hey, I'm going to. So I don't know the exact conversation I have in the locker room, but I do know this much. It had a direct effect on their play, and it left a lot. They got beat. They were a 24-point favorite against New Mexico State. They got beat by 35. So, I mean, it imploded, and it went downhill fast. And so it was just not a good way to exit. And Liberty has a really good football team. They have a really good football team, and you just saw that fall apart that last game of the season. Kent wasn't obviously really involved in that. He just a few weeks later, Hugh had offered him the job and decided to go to Auburn with him.
So Ken Austin was in limbo a little bit. Was the impression that I got. He didn't know if he was going to go to Auburn or not, and some people close to Kent had said maybe. Why don't you put out there, Rod, that maybe he'll come back to the CFL? I think he was looking for opportunities in case Auburn didn't happen.
Right.
Was there any chance that wasn't going to happen? Because obviously he did end up going.
I think Kent, the combination of Hugh Freeze is a very as good an offensive scheming mind as you'll be around as a coach. Like, he lives, breathes, sleeps, eats football, and he does a really good job offensively of knowing how to scheme. What he found in Kent Austin is Kent is a very smart football coach, but he's a very technically fundamental quarterback coach. And that's where he's in the details. And he does a great job in the development of quarterbacks from a fundamental standpoint and from a knowledge standpoint. And when you take Hugh Freeze and his football knowledge and offensive knowledge, and you combine it with what Ken Austin's able to teach and help grow and develop a quarterback, it's a great combination. And you look at a guy like Malik Willis, who they coached last year. Malik Willis was transferred from Auburn to Liberty University and is now playing for the Tennessee Titans, and was one of the, probably you could argue, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in all of college football last year. And that wasn't just as a runner, it was as a thrower too. And that was because of Ken Austin's ability to develop a quarterback.
How much did you have to do with Kent?
How much did I have to do
with
with
you're
Kent?
around him a lot?
No, Kent was always pretty recluse, I guess, would be the right way. So you didn't see Kent a lot. He didn't like to do media interviews. Like, Hugh would do all the offensive media interviews. So usually you get the head coach, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Hugh basically covered that for Kent. So Kent really enjoyed staying behind the scenes. I'd go over to the football office and I'd see him every once in a while, and we'd talk old CFL stories and that kind of stuff. But Kent's a great guy. I love Kent. And but in terms of media availability, he wasn't really around
It's
much.
weird, though. I feel sorry for Kent because he's so smart. As you know, when he's talking to you, he's kind of talking over your head.
Yeah.
And he wonders if you're catching what he's saying, But he wrote the foreword for my best-selling book on the Rough Riders. It was about the 2007 season. He was happy to do it.
Right.
But when we had a reunion for the 89 Riders in 09, 20 years after, Kent wasn't there. So I'm walking around going, where's Kent? Where's Kent? They're like, Kent's not really a reunion guy.
He's not a reunion, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't have said any better than that, Ron. I mean, that's about right. I mean,
but it doesn't mean he's a jerk either.
No, not at all. It's just like he just sort of does his thing.
He doesn't look back.
Yeah, he doesn't look back.
That's the big one.
Yeah, he doesn't look back. Yeah.
But then he connects with quarterbacks at every level.
Yes.
I'm talking CFL, NCAA. And he told me one time he would like to coach in the NFL. I wonder if he ever will.
Yeah, sure. That's potentially could happen. But you look at what he's done. Like, Liberty's quarterback this year after Malik Willis left was a mess, absolute mess. They had three different guys that they were trying to. Charlie Brewer, the transfer from Baylor University, he was Baylor and he was at Utah, transferred in and put up behind RG3 was. You look at Baylor records, it's RG3, and then it's Charlie Brewer, and he came in and got hurt. For second series of the season against Southern Miss, broke his thumb, so he's out. So then they had a transfer from Tennessee. Caden Salter was a 4-star recruit that transferred from Tennessee. So they gave him a shot. They gave Jonathan Bennett a shot. They had another kid named Nick Hampton a shot. So they're playing musical chairs at quarterback, and they're still winning every game. You have to look at what Liberty did and what Kent did in an incredible situation, difficult situation, to be able to develop quarterbacks, having to try to really play two different guys between Caden Salter and Jonathan Bennett. Still beat BYU, still beat Arkansas, and took Wake Forest to 1 point, and then got within a point or two to Virginia Tech.
So I say he was the quarterback whisperer before Mark Trestman. And before that might have been your dad, which when we come back, we'll talk some more about Ray Yawk. Joey Yawk's with us from the Liberty Flames. It is the game day. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl will be played tonight. It's live on ESPN and all across Canada on TSN2. We'll be right back. We're live all across Canada on the Game Plus television network in 31 U.S. states. Also live streaming on YouTube and on the radio, Metro Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Broadcasting live from the roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl, and tonight it's the Liberty Flames against Toledo, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and TSN2, and we're very pleased to welcome Joe Yock to the broadcast, the RP Show. I feel bad I haven't got to your questions, folks. I apologize. I've been hogging Joey. He's going to be with us into hour two for a little bit. I appreciate that. And then our hockey analyst, Serena Taylor, coming up as well. From the text line, you can always reach us right here in the studio, 902-518-3033. As God is my witness.
There he is.
From Norm Fong on the 902 line.
is.
Rod, please say hello to Joey for me. He looks like he could still play today. Signed Fongo, the Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
My Normie Fong. Good to hear from you, Norm. I mean, that is as top shelf equipment man as you will find. I don't care what league you're in.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Normie was the best. We loved him. We love Normie to death. So that is great to hear from my old buddy Norm.
Now, as I promised, next hour we'll talk a little bit more about the Boca Raton Bowl and some hockey because Joey is clearly following it closely. But I do want to talk about your dad, Ray Yock. For those that don't know, he's 84 now. I don't even know where to start, man. He was drafted in the AFL.
Yeah.
You obviously know your dad's history. Two-time Grey Cup champion. 1961. 1975, two-time coach of the year in the CFL. Why would I read Wikipedia? You're a living kid.
I can give you the full scoop.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, so he played at University of Iowa. A couple of interesting facts. He led the nation in all-purpose yards. They won the Rose Bowl at the University of Iowa, beat Cal in the Rose Bowl, and were number one in the nation. They split it with LSU that year for the national championship. Kenny Payne was on that team.
Ooh, his name comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Stud.
Willie Fleming. I don't know some of these other guys. There's some CFLers that played on that team, but and then got drafted by the Buffalo Bills. And at that time, actually, the Canadian League was paying a little bit more than what the old
people wouldn't believe it.
Wouldn't believe it.
True,
and so he ended up in Winnipeg, and then played in Winnipeg and won a Grey Cup. So he won a Grey Cup as a player and as a coach. And so very few people have actually done that. And then ended up becoming head coach at Edmonton and was coach of the year in 70, head coach in Winnipeg, coach of the year in 80, won the Grey Cup in 1970. One of my earliest child, I was 5 years old, was being in McMahon Stadium in Calgary, watching Edmonton play Montreal in the Grey Cup, and Don Sweet missed a field goal on the last play of the game. Larry Highbaugh deep in the end zone got it, and the Eskimos win the Grey Cup. And that's I can remember sitting in Calgary freezing. Little side note here. There was a woman streaker during the national anthem of that game. My mother said, "Joey, cover your eyes." And then she had to do it for me.
You were 5.
I was only 5. I'm just
a Grey Cup. Grey Cup
said,
Lord.
Rod said you were 5. That's great. That's great.
Well, I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Two-time, like your dad is a living Hall of Famer, and he's not in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
We got to get him in there.
Yeah, we got to get him in there. We might be able to twist some arms. It shouldn't be hard. This is a Hall of Fame resume, as I sit here. But you didn't. So your Canadian status as a player, non-import, as we say. Yeah. Were you born in Canada then?
I was born in Edmonton, yeah.
Okay.
So if you live the rule back, I don't know if it's still the same now, but if you live 5 of your first 15 years in Canada, you could be considered a non-import. And so I was born in Edmonton, lived in Edmonton and Winnipeg until I was 12.
Yeah, the rules haven't changed a lot. As a matter of fact, they've lessened in terms of restrictions. Right. And why wouldn't they? You want better players in the league, right?
100%.
Yeah. What about those Arena League days with you?
Oh, those are great.
Yeah.
The old Chicago Bruisers back in the day. And, here's a great story. You want to hear a great story? My dad was a head coach in the USFL, the Washington Federals. That's when we moved to the United States. And he got fired after his second year there. And Jim Foster was an old Iowa guy. And Jim Foster came up with the original idea of arena football. And so my dad, I was 12, 13 at the time, says, "Hey, I'm going to go to Chicago and meet with Jim Foster. He's got some new league they're talking about doing, and he wants me to take a look at it." So I remember my dad coming home from Chicago, and he had a VHS tape. And we popped in the thing. He said, they got this concept called arena football. And watch this tape. And I saw the original arena football concept tape to put this thing on. I said, "That is the wildest thing I've ever seen." I said, "You going to do it?" And he said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do it." And so he became the head coach of the Chicago Bruisers.
And ran the whole league, it looks like, in 1989.
Yeah, then ran the whole league.
And the Arena League in some form or another is still going.
Yeah,
which is very cool.
It's sort of spread off in all these like Iowa Barnstormers and.
How we doing for time, fellas? Yeah. Well, yeah, so we got 30 seconds left. I think, okay. Joey's going to be with us for one more segment next hour, and we're going to be talking some hockey with him, some more football stories, and I promise I'll turn the discussion over to you, the viewers, because we are the most interactive show on television, radio, and streaming. We're live from the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, kickoff 7:30 Eastern tonight on ESPN and TSN2. We'll be back after this brief pause.
It's Boca, baby.
At WQEE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Take Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
The CFL's unfairly maligned for lack of loyalty and player turnover. We saw it with the NFL last year in the quarterback carousel. Now the NHL. When you sit back and watch the games, no matter the league, you get over it pretty quickly, don't you?
You do, but you still don't have that identity with the players. Like, players that bounce around from team to team to team to team to team don't have an identity and don't build that real core fan base.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. It's Hour 2, coming at you on Game Plus Television. We're also live streaming on YouTube. Maybe you're listening at your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for that. Or on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. Metro Atlanta. It is game day, roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl. We're live from the Hilton, West Palm Beach. Joey Yock's with us from the Liberty Flames, a CFL veteran, the son of CFL great Ray Yock, Liberty Flames broadcaster, former assistant coach. We're still going to talk about this game, but I promised Joey that we would talk about hockey as well.
Little hockey?
You're not joking. You're a Jets. Maybe we should start. We're very big in Winnipeg, where we're carried on Bell MTS cable, on Game Plus television. You're a Jets fan. That doesn't ever leave you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Winnipeg there when I was 8, and so and then we moved to DC when I was 12. So I always loved the Jets, and then the Washington Capitals. And I was telling you guys a story earlier that my brother played college football, University of North Dakota, and his college roommate who played with him at North Dakota was the great Mark Chipman, who brought the Jets back to Winnipeg.
He sure did.
And the Chipman and the Yock family all grew up together. And then my brother met him. My brother was best man in his wedding. He was the best man in my brother's wedding. And so old Mark Chipman is a classic. My brother still talks to him all the time.
Yes, he just a nice man.
Great guy.
A very, very
Love
smart
Chipman.
man. I've been around him. He did some work with the Humboldt Broncos after the bus crash, as did I. Got to know him through that. Just a really good guy. So
Love
how about
Chipman.
that? All the
Yeah.
synergies. Now,
Yeah.
Joey played in the CFL with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Saskatchewan Roughriders, Montreal Alouettes. There have been questions come in regarding your brothers.
Yes.
What was their
Yeah.
acumen, football acumen?
Yeah, so my brother Jeff, like I said, played at North Dakota, and then my brother John played at South Dakota State, and then my brother Jim and I played together at the University of North Carolina. We were Tar Heels, and then Jim went up and played in Edmonton, Calgary, and Hamilton, and so we actually played together for 2 years in Hamilton, and so definitely Jeff, John, Jim, and Joey. I mean,
your poor mom.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Rod.
Yeah.
I can only give you facts. Okay, I can just give you facts.
Oh, I would hope.
And in Edmonton, Alberta, Winnipeg, Manitoba, the Yock brothers were undefeated in backyard football. You can bring them in
How
from
about that?
whatever street the other kids want to come from. They bring the tough kids in. They bring whoever they want to bring in. The Yock brothers never lost a game.
That
in
was your
backyard
game.
football.
Yeah. And now it's pickleball.
I love it.
You're like the Sutter brothers of football,
Yeah.
right? But when I say your poor mom, it's like mine. We're 3 boys in
Yeah.
my family, trying to remember all those names
Yeah.
and starting with a J. But I guess
Yeah,
that
my
was,
mom would do that. Jeff, Jimmy, John.
Exactly. Man, this is a fun interview. I appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Liberty Toledo tonight, roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl, ESPN in US, TSN2 in Canada. I'll say it again. Ken Austin was the offensive coordinator, I think, since 2019.
Yeah.
And up until last week-ish, 2 weeks ago, he and Hugh Freeze bolted to go to Auburn. So Josh Aldridge will coach the game tonight. He's listed as
Yeah.
the head coach, I would
Yeah.
assume. Is there a
And guess what? Josh Aldridge, after this game, is leaving to go to join Hugh Freeze's staff in Auburn.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can I take a couple of minutes to explain this, and then I will, trust me, let you talk hockey because I want to get your takes. How this has all changed, because my football coach buddies, of which there are a ton of them down here, they're like, Rod, the hiring process has all been moved up. They wouldn't switch schools until the new year for sure.
Right. Transfer portal has done it. Transfer portal has really
can you
done
explain that to a dumb Canadian that wouldn't know?
So they changed the rules in NCAA where you can go into the transfer portal one time with no before you'd have to sit out a year. You couldn't 2 years if you were within conference, I believe that's what it was, and then a year if you were out of conference. And now they said no, it's a Wild West. If a coach can leave, if a coach can leave in a year and go somewhere else and coach, and why can't a player? And so they allow the players to go in the transfer portal. Well, you got to have the transfer portal opened up about 2 weeks ago, right at the end of the season. Right at the end of the season, the regular season opens up. And so what happens is your coach leaves, you fire your coach, whatever. You got to get the next guy in place before the transfer portal opens up, because if you don't, then everybody starts transferring, and the good players who are transferring in are not going to transfer to a school that doesn't have their coach in place. So it really puts the kids, the coaches, everybody in a real difficult position.
But then the bowl season is just, what is it? I mean, there's 42 games. What's the importance of it? What is the message it sends?
I'm on the opposite end of that. I think these kids love it. It matters to them. They'll show up tonight. Like, you look at this Liberty Toledo game. This is going to be a really good football game. I mean, these are Liberty beat Arkansas. Liberty beat BYU. They took Wake Forest to a 2-point conversion to win the game. Didn't get it and lost by 1 point. Virginia Tech lost to them 21-19. So, I mean, they played a tough schedule. It's good football. And Toledo, champions of the MAC conference. So, I mean, this is going to be a good football. And you look at Liberty, they have a bad taste in their mouth from the loss against New Mexico State when Hugh Freeze, they found out 2 hours before the game that he's leaving.
They want to prove something.
So they feel as if like they've got a really good foot and they want to prove something. And so you're going to see Coach Klanakis is the new offensive coordinator. He coached Lamar Jackson at Louisville. Coach Colin Kaepernick when he was at Nevada. And so he has experience as an offensive coordinator, experience as a coach to be able to change a few things up here tonight and hopefully put on a pretty good show.
Well, what I love about it, and I knew it was going to be a great game. You don't generally get to a bowl game unless you're decent. These are two teams with winning records, but being around the hotel here, the guys have their Liberty tracksuits with a Boca Bowl patch on them. And it's got a Grey Cup feel, and the band is here. I saw you saying hey to some of them, right? Like, so the pageantry, all the pomp and circumstance. It's like a Grey Cup.
Yeah, they did really do it right. Last night they had the band in the main area there, and then the restaurant with all the, the fans traveled well, and so it's gonna be I got a feeling this is gonna be a really good football game.
So so from our viewers, Jeff the Stamps fan says, is this the son of Ray? Indeed it is. From Jack Fulton in Alberta, Joey is an outstanding interview. Love it. Yes, absolutely it is. From Craig, our director of scouting, says, York family, amazing.
Love it.
So, yeah, they're loving the chat here. From JT, he says, I'm loving the background, no snow. There it is, no snow, casual weather. We should mention this. Joey played in the CFL in the 90s for 6 seasons. You got to Lynchburg, Virginia to coach Liberty. How?
Yeah, so my wife's from Lynchburg. And so we got married, and I knew Sam Ratigliano was the head coach. I was an NFL Coach of the Year at the Cleveland Browns, and took the job at Liberty to help build the program. And Sam hired me on and coached 2 years with him. And then we decided to get out of coaching after that and start getting the mortgage business. And then we raised our family right there in Lynchburg.
Population of Lynchburg is what?
No, it's probably Lynchburg surrounding areas, about 250,000 people.
So for the mortgage business, it would be a good one.
Yeah, it's good. With Liberty University there, it's very, it's really the driver behind everything, and so they supply a lot of jobs, and it's a good economically. It's never as high, but it's never as low. So it's right in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's as pretty can get. You get all 4 seasons beautifully, and we absolutely, it's a great place to live.
For all the sports fans in Canada watching that know the Yock family, life is great for Joey Yock, and his dad's doing great. We just got to get him into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Amen to that one.
Yes.
So who's ever on that committee or whoever is a Hall of Famer, man, that would go a long way.
The CFL decides that now. That's a conversation for another time. So
get on him, Rod.
I'm on him every day.
Personal mission.
I'm on him every day. I don't know whether they like it or not, but you know what I mean. So to the National Hockey League, because what we generally do here in the RP show is hour 1, we talk about last night's games. Hour 2, we tee up tonight's game. So there are 3, 6, 8 games tonight, including the Winnipeg Jets at home to the Ottawa Senators. You mentioned you're a Washington Capitals fan. They beat Detroit last night, but Ovi did not score.
Yeah, Ovi's been.
Yeah. So did you think he was going to do it? And I guess he hasn't done it yet.
But I think, man, what he's got 20 goals, 21 in the last. I mean,
he's on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire, and they got him now where he doesn't have to play a ton, and he's older, but he can pick his spots. In hockey, like most of this stuff is the way the game's geared now is that it's all about the power play. So like scoring on the power play is just so big, and that's Ovi's specialty. So I mean, he tees it up, and you give him a one-timer, he's going to put it in the back of the net. So yeah, you never thought in a million years that was going to happen, but it looks. I think he's got a good shot at it. I think it's going to happen.
Well, I think any of us that have some graying hair that profess to be athletes are rooting for a guy.
Yeah, everybody's got to root for him. And you know what? The thing is, like, so when you look at Gretzky and what he did and everything, but just the sheer size of the man.
He's thick.
I mean, he's
big,
thick, and I mean, Gretzky wasn't putting hands on anybody, right? Like Ovi, that's a guy you don't want to mess with. I mean, he's thick, strong, just over. And I really think he's got a legitimate shot at this thing.
Well, I think it's awesome that you're doing the Liberty thing. You're doing some North Carolina broadcasting. You're doing mortgages, you got a family. Where do you find time to follow this stuff? Honestly.
Well, what, my pickleball league, I got a bunch of Canadians.
You're running a pickleball league?
I run a pickleball. I'm the CEO and head barkeep of my pickleball league, and we got a lot of Canadians. And we got Canadians that come, Mike Morrison, John Schubert, Jared Smith. So we were up watching they're big Leafs fans. So they live, eat, and sleep and die Toronto Maple Leafs. And so we had our pickleball Christmas party. the other night, and at the Christmas party, we have a band, the Pickle Boys, that's made up of the members of the Pickleball League.
Is that awards night too, or?
Well, no, the awards night's at the Champions Dinner. That's in the summer.
Oh,
the Champions Dinner, we all have blue blazers we wear, and to the Champions Dinner. And but so the Pickle Boys play. They hit a home run with Hotel California, absolute home run. Dougie, 71 years old, on the drums, killed it.
Dougie Fresh?
Yeah, Dougie Fresh, he killed it. Killed it on the drums.
I
And then-
was listening.
Yeah,
Joey.
yeah. It's a big deal. And then after the party was over, the boys and I sat around and had a couple more pops and watched the Leafs game. It's good times. It's good times.
BW's watching in Edmonton and says, talk about the Liberty Flames hockey team.
Oh,
They're
yeah, that's a
great.
great.
They're
yes.
great on social media. He
Yes,
says.
great. Liberty Flames hockey team is high. Well, not to the Canadians, I would say, but in America, it is club hockey that is very. They bring in a bunch of Canadian players. The guy who's the head coach, a good friend of mine by the name of Kirk Handy. And Liberty is a great hockey school. They pack out the arena. They have their own ice on campus, their own arena on campus. It's a beautiful arena. Everything, and they have a beautiful arena. They got. I mean, Rod, they got stinking suites in the thing. There's the college club hockey team has suites in their arena, and you can rent out the suite or you can own the suite. And their hockey team has made it to the Final Four, probably 5 or 6 times.
To be honest, I feel that hockey gets a bad rap in the U.S. simply because Canadians think it doesn't exist. And here, you're going to be at FAU tonight. Have you been that stadium before?
I have not. It's my first time.
Well, the hockey rink is in Coral Springs where the Florida Panthers practice, but they jam it. I go to the games, and you can't find a place to sit down at FAU hockey games. So Canadians would never believe it, but it's a thing. John in Winnipeg, John Ohm is his name. He says, your brother Jeff Yock is the owner of the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders of the United States Hockey.
Yes.
I like how John acts like you wouldn't know that.
Yeah. No, well, he's not exactly correct on that one. The Jeff Yock was the president. He wasn't the owner of the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, but he was the president for a few years, and he had another. There was Mark Chipman. This is how crazy this is. There was Mark Chipman, who was his roommate. Well, he had another buddy named Mark Sadeo. Mm-hmm. And Mark Sadeo is the owner of the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, and he hired my brother Jeff to become president of the team. So he did that. He did that for probably 3 or 4 years.
I follow it pretty closely, believe it or not, the Cedar Rapids team. I didn't know that your brother was the president, but their colors are green, white, and black, right? And they have beautiful logo.
Yeah,
I get it. Hey, we only got 2 minutes left with Joey Yock, and I don't think it's time to get into this, but Dan in Saskatoon says the NCAA needs to put restrictions on NIL money, name, image, likeness. It benefits the schools with rich boosters like Texas A&M, Alabama, and USC. This has gotten terribly out of control.
It's gotten out of control. Yeah, it's gotten out of control, and it's. But at the same time, like they're gobbling up the best players. You look at it. I'm a Carolina guy. Drake May is going to be the front runner to win the Heisman Trophy next year. Okay, so he'll be right near the top. He'll be in the top 3. Well, he had schools come in and offer him millions of dollars in order to transfer. Well, Carolina had to come up with Carolina's got pretty deep pockets there at that university, but they had to come up with a nice hunk of money just to be able to get him to stay. And so, yes, you're right. The best players are going to get gobbled up by the big schools, and so it's the Wild West right now.
Yeah,
and they need to put some restrictions on it.
I don't feel like they saw this coming. They should have known.
Yeah,
but
it's too much money, and in U.S. NCAA college football, there is so much money, and there's so many people that want to be a part of the programs in order to help them. They can raise incredible amounts of money to be able to give to the players.
Well, this has been fantastic, and 1 full hour. We were not long on things to talk about.
We didn't even scratch the surface.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Joey,
Rod, this is a great show. I tell you what, if the folks out there who are tuning in, I'm looking around the setup here and listening to Rod, and I mean, this is a great show. I
appreciate it.
We love it.
We love doing it, man, because of great guys like you. And good luck tonight.
You're coming through Lynchburg. Let me know.
Absolutely.
See you. Go Flames.
Serena joins us next as we will talk hockey and what they said, go Birds. I think there's some Toledo fans here. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the RP Show. It's hour 2. Going to change things up a little bit. Not going to be any less fun, but we welcome to the broadcast our hockey analyst, Serena Taylor, with a whole lot to discuss there. And again, the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl goes tonight. And look, I think we can just calm down here. It was a little frantic getting set up initially and then making Joey Yock feel at home. He was a tough nut to crack, wasn't he, to make him feel comfortable?
He's definitely very comfortable on the mic. He was a lot of fun.
Yes, he was. So, hey, let me ask you about this. You've been in America for like 15 years. These bowl games, we are going to get to hockey, but this is exciting stuff, man.
Always. College football is so big. And I don't think people really understand that there's stadiums in this country that hold 100,000 people. And they go, they fill it.
Yeah.
It's important to them.
Well, it's about 35,000 tonight at Schnellenberger Stadium. And we'll be there, although Joey put a bit of a damper on things by saying there's an 80% chance of rain tonight. But whatever, I'll be there in the stands having fun. Now, as I switch gears here and just mentally dial our viewers and listeners in. We're going to talk some hockey here, probably the rest of the way. 902-518-3033, the number to text us here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can write in the comments there. Just to briefly recap what happened last night, and I don't know if you have any takes on that. We mentioned there are 8 games tonight. Mike Hoffman scored in overtime. The Montreal Canadiens won 3-2 at Arizona. You didn't watch any of the highlights of these games, did you?
I haven't had the chance.
Okay. Do you feel, though, that the furor of playing in 5,000-seat Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona, and not even filling that, has kind of died down? We're not hearing as much about that as we were.
Potentially. I think it's just that no one has ever cared about hockey in Arizona. I don't think they're going to start now.
Oh, okay. Then I feel like Canadians have gotten over it, and it's just, let's just play hockey. You know what I mean? Because you're not hearing anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it in a long time.
Yeah. Jordan Kyrou scored 3 times on Monday night and added a helper. The St. Louis Blues stung the Canucks 5-1 in Vancouver. The Oilers fell 4-3 in overtime at Nashville. Alexander Carrier scored at 2:12 of overtime. The Oilers have lost 3 in a row. Somewhat rhetorical question here, but in Edmonton they're saying today what's wrong with the Oilers. You want to take a swing at that?
Oh, well, I honestly didn't watch the highlights because when I saw the score, if Edmonton loses, I just don't watch the highlights. I don't really get to stay up and watch the Oiler games because a lot of times they don't start till like 9 p.m. on the East Coast here. But it always goes back to the same thing with the Oilers is the goaltending. We talked about this the other day. There's always been a disconnect in the goaltending. It's always going to be like that until we get a stud, but I really don't think there's that many strong goaltenders left in the league, and none of them are going to be available at any point in time if they do come up.
Well, I thought Jack Campbell was fine last night. I was thinking of Oilers fans when there was the shot that pinballed in from the point. Jack Campbell didn't see it. Stuart Skinner signed the extension yesterday. Was at 3 years, $2.6 million per. Can I just ask you this before I move on? How you feel about a 2-goalie rotation in the crease? I mean, I'm basically okay with it if you win. We're looking at Tampa Bay, who's been in the 3 straight Stanley Cup finals with a guy that's played every single minute for 3 straight years. That's the best example on that end. But I also think if one guy's struggling, throw the other guy in and you can win games. I'm not opposed to a 2-goalie rotation for any team, let alone the Edmonton Oilers.
I think personally from a psychological standpoint, which goalies are definitely very psychologically and mindset driven, I think it's better to stay with one guy. If you have a starting goaltender and you have a backup goaltender waiting in the wings that desperately wants to play, it's like quarterbacks in the CFL, the NFL, they don't go back and forth. They play their starting quarterback. And because that guy needs to know he's got some competition behind him. If these goaltenders know that they're probably going to play maybe every other game, what have they got to prove? Who cares? I stand by the quarterback situation. I stand by you start your starter and you have a starter. And then if something happens, you go to your backup.
Well, I've always had that mentality, and it was if you have 2 goalies or 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. But I realized when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, when Carson Wentz went down and Nick Foles came in and won it for them, it's not so bad to have 2 quality guys, 2 quality starting guys. And I'd like to think that the Oilers have that. I mean, if that's the way they move forward, are you okay with it, those 2 being Campbell and Skinner?
Really, who else is there? I think that's why a lot of teams, when you have a guy like Vasilevsky, you're going to play him every time because he's Vasilevsky, just like Brodeur. You're going to play Brodeur every time. But I don't think that one of the Oiler goaltenders is standing out more than the other. So that's my guess as to why they're playing them where they are. And let's see who it's like the World Juniors. You kind of go see what's going to happen with these guys and see who comes out on the top.
We welcome all your comments, everybody, on whatever we're discussing. From John Ohm in Winnipeg, he says, with these back-to-back games in the NHL, you need a 2-goalie rotation.
Because they skate a lot?
Do you really?
Come on, John.
You think that they do.
You're not going to get gonged anymore with comments like that.
Well, it's funny. Kelly Rudy and I have talked about that, and he's like, those guys used to play back-to-back nights all the time. They used to play back-to-back nights in the playoffs.
How long did Brodeur play without having a day off?
Yeah, so they think they need 2 goalies because of back-to-back nights, but they don't actually. From BW in Edmonton, he says Arizona has definitely cut costs in Mullet Arena. What does that mean? I don't understand what you mean by that. They're doing it until they get a new arena, if they even... Are they getting a new arena? Arizona? Do you believe that? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm asking. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to say who he gave it.
He probably
a,
just means that it's like driving a $1,000 car versus a $50,000 car.
From BW also says the Oilers are in a holding pattern till Evander Kane comes back. This is going to backfire. No room on the salary cap to make a big shakeup. They shouldn't necessarily have to. I'm watching the Oilers last night at Nashville. I watched it, and I thought exactly that. They're just trying to hold the fort until Evander Kane comes back. And so they got a loser point, losing in overtime, but they're still in a playoff spot. That's how I feel. Do you agree with that?
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's a tough... I don't think that they're feeling the effects of not having Kane as much as we kind of thought they might, but it's not going to hurt when he comes back.
From our director of scouting, Craig Smith, says, nice stadium in Boca would be a nice CFL stadium. Yeah, tune it in tonight, everybody. TheRoofClaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl, 7:30 Eastern on TSN2 in Canada, ESPN in the USA. It's a stadium that holds about 35,000, Ash, when you say? 30? It's the perfect CFL stadium. Craig is right. Watch it tonight. It's gorgeous. No frills, but new, and it gets the job done. Ryan, watching in Saratoga, New York, says football fans in the state show up rain or shine, or in some places, snow. Stephen in North Dakota says, is it cold in Florida? Serena's long sleeves. I wonder why you were going with the long sleeves
today. It's very thin. It is. It's really thin.
It's a rare day that you're wearing long sleeves.
Yeah. We're in the shade. It's not hot today, by no means.
So... to the World Juniors commentary, and by the way, I'll say it again, our World Junior special airs this Friday, and then next Tuesday as the tournament opens Boxing Day in Nova Scotia. Last night, in the first of 3 test runs before the World Juniors, Canada cruised past Switzerland 6-0 at the Avenir Centre Monday, and that is a beautiful arena in Moncton, right on Main Street. It's about 8,200 seating capacity. Shane Wright paced Canada's attack with 2 goals and an assist. Singles were added by Joshua Roy, Nathan Gaucher, Olin Zellweger, and Brennan Othman. Connor Bedard, you might have heard of him, had 3 assists, while Zach Dean and Dylan Genther chipped in with 2. Thomas Milich recorded the shutout. She's going to be on our World Junior special along with Peter Labardius, Sam Cosentino, Brent Kissio from Team Canada, Julie Robenheimer from USA Prospects, who will be in Nova Scotia for the event. We were planning to, unfortunately not happening, but we'll be watching. What has you most excited about this World Juniors besides all of it?
Yeah, I always get excited for the juniors. I think that having it in such a small event place where everybody knows that the Maritimes show up for events, I think it's going to be so awesome because it's going to have a lot of energy. Those fans have been dying for something like this. They always do such a great job out there. And anytime it's in Canada, it's always a lot of fun.
Stephen in North Dakota says, I will be watching the RP show for the only World Junior coverage I can find in America.
Came to the right place.
I was going to say, you want to comment on that?
No, he knows. He knows what's up.
Well, and I want to thank our guy Ash, who's sitting just off the set here, because it was his idea to come here and do the show from the West Palm Beach Hilton. And, I will be thinking for a long time about Joey Yock saying, this is a great show, man. This is a great show. Yes, it is a great show. For whatever reason, there's literally nothing else like it out there. But I don't know how many Americans care about the World Juniors. That's the sad part of it. I mean, I think they would tune in our show, American World Junior fans, just for the coverage. Because they're not getting it anywhere else.
I would say I do know a few people who are somewhat interested in the tournament just because they like hockey and they realize it's a tournament. And if they're akin to what's going on in Canada, and Canadian hockey fans, they've heard of the World Juniors. So they definitely know that it's a big deal because Canadians make it to be such a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you, and we can veer off in another conversation. Maybe next segment we will, like Tage Thompson. One of the most. What player are you hearing more about in the NHL this year than Tage Thompson?
He's been unbelievable. We were talking about how we haven't heard much about Zegras, but Tage Thompson is he's just so good. And we were laughing about how long his stick must be.
6'7".
Yeah.
From Phoenix, Arizona. He's in his 6th NHL season. He's averaging almost a goal a game. He's an American, y'all. Is my point. So hockey is up and coming, but that coverage isn't keeping pace with that.
Honestly, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't think the pace has changed about American hockey. I really don't. It's been the same for
you don't think
a while.
There's more better hockey, U.S. hockey players?
No, absolutely not. I think overall, if you take a look at Canada, you could take probably 300 guys that could qualify to play on the World Junior team in Canada. And the U.S., you're probably closer to maybe 40 guys or 50 guys that are at that same level. But I think there's getting to be more depth
I get what you're saying.
in the development, but I don't think that there's a whole bunch of guys that are coming out. Like, look at when Phil Kessel and Patrick Kane and those guys were all... There's not an overabundance of players at any point in time. After that Mighty Ducks movie or whatever came out, there was a lot of people that started to play it, but it really hasn't built at a steady pace like everybody thinks it has.
Fair, but I'm thinking of names Zegras, Caulfield, Spencer Knight, Jack Campbell, John Gibson. You're saying there may be more top-end guys, but not more overall.
I think there's... I wouldn't say there are more top-end guys now. If you look 15, 20 years ago, there was all still a quality amount. Look at that shootout Canada and the U.S. had in the World Juniors when Carey Price was in that.
Even after that.
That big one with Jonathan Taves and all those guys. There was some studs on both those teams. The U.S. had a strong team that year.
From WQEE Rock, Ryan O'Radio, he says, real sports fans love all sports. Couldn't agree more.
Really?
Thank you, Ryan O'Radio. Stop. They're not talking about soccer.
How did you know I was going there?
Jason Wall, Jason Wall on YouTube says, going back to similar venues for the World Juniors is awesome. Going back to the roots of the tournament, like the 80s and the 90s. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the Boca Raton Stadium sounds like McMahon Stadium, which everyone complains about.
No, it's nicer than McMahon.
It's not even in the same No.
How about that?
It's really nice.
Good try, Jeff. This stadium is... if you're going to have an outdoor stadium, which, why wouldn't you here? This is the exact stadium you would want.
Yeah,
if I was
nice.
building a stadium in Canada, I would want to have a dome on it for sure. But that's just me. I don't like the cold. Clearly, nor do you.
No.
We will be back. If you've got questions or comments, fire them at us, 902-518-3033. And I appreciate you, Ryan O'Radio, my spirit brother, checking in from Metro Atlanta, from the Key, running the ship down there. We'll be back in a moment to the Hilton, West Palm Beach, on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca. You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, broadcasting live from the roofclean.com Boca Raton Bowl. Tonight it is Toledo up against Liberty University, 7:30 Eastern from Howard Schnellenberger Stadium. You can watch in America on ESPN, in Canada on TSN2. A sports update which will involve some NHL. Atlantic Division rivals Toronto and Tampa Bay meet tonight at Scotiabank Arena. It's a rematch from last season's NHL playoffs when the Lightning ousted the Leafs in a 7-game first-round series. Elsewhere tonight, the Winnipeg Jets welcome the Ottawa Senators, and the Calgary Flames visit the San Jose Sharks. Sapporo officials and the Japanese Olympic Committee are, quote, reviewing their bid to land the 2030 Winter Games. According to the Japanese news agency Kyodo, the Sapporo bid has been battered by a corruption scandal surrounding the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. And the Montreal Alouettes are officially introducing Jason Maas as the CFL team's new head coach at a press conference today. Maas takes over the reins of the team from general manager Danny Machocha, who served as the interim coach last season after Kahari Jones was fired 4 games in. As I mentioned, you can reach us 902-518-3033 in the studio or on the YouTube comments. Dave writes us from Niagara Falls, Ontario. He says, nice to see you. Moose filled in great. Go, Leafs, go. Dave's watching on Game Plus TV, and he just found us down there in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Serena Taylor's with us, our hockey analyst, one of our hockey analysts. And boys, we have the odds here from Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner in Sportsbook. These are their odds right now. If you want to throw some change down on Stanley Cup winners, NHL futures, the Colorado Avalanche plus 575 to win the Stanley Cup. They're the favorites, Serena. Boston Bruins plus 580. I know you guys are digging up the boards. Vegas Golden Knights plus 790. Thank you. Toronto Maple Leafs plus 865 and the Carolina Hurricanes plus 1020. We'll have our top 5, bottom 5 in the NHL coming up tomorrow. Colorado, Stanley Cup favorites right now? I'm not sure I go along with that.
Who do you think?
Probably the Boston Bruins, to be honest with you.
I would go. I was a little shocked to see Vegas actually at number three, if you will, on that list.
Odds,
but
yes.
yeah, the odds. Yeah, I mean, Boston, Colorado. It probably is going to be one or the other, but anything can happen.
Well, it's interesting. We ran a computer simulation about 3 years ago, and it predicted a Vegas-Boston Stanley Cup. That was 3 years ago, and here we are 3 years later, and they are two of the top teams in the National Hockey League. And quite frankly, if you really want to get into it, and I'll get to these comments in a second, there's a lot of football questions coming in, but look at this. Boston fires Bruce Cassidy because they're unhappy with whatever they're unhappy about. And they bring in Jim Montgomery. And they got the number one team in the Eastern Conference flirting with number one overall in the National Hockey League. And you think Bruce Cassidy can't tie his shoelaces. And he goes to Vegas, and look what he's done there. Number one team in the Western Conference. It doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you don't always want hot fudge on the top of your sundae. You get sick of it after a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think sometimes these teams need a shakeup. You can't have the same thing over and over and over and over and have it repeatedly work. It always comes down to the head coach, though. That's the formula, and if it's not working, Bruce Cassidy is an incredible head coach.
Clearly.
Incredible. And I don't necessarily think he was doing a bad job, just sometimes he needs a shake-up.
Well, if you really want to get into it, and it's a bit of a thing, and you know I have a problem with this, is the mentality of fans and people. My brother Lee says we live in a 24-hour world. What happened yesterday, you forgot already, and what's coming up tomorrow, you're not thinking about yet. You're in a 24-hour world. And with the Bruins, remember, was it last year or 2 years ago? I think just last year, Jake DeBrusk wanted out, one of their star players. Why do players usually want out? They don't like the coach.
Yeah, generally
and you
speaking.
almost wonder, look at Mark Scheifele in Winnipeg and Paul Maurice. You know, that old adage, whoever came up with it's easier to fire one coach than 20 players, that guy or gal really knew what they were talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's black or white here. There's always a gray area on, I think, when you're going to let your coach go or when you're going to make a change specifically. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think there's things that go on behind the scenes that don't necessarily get brought into the public, which they shouldn't. But like anybody that left Calgary this year, who knows why? I don't think it was Rich Sutter, though.
No. Daryl Sutter.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Craig Smith, our director of scouting, says if he's laying a bet, it is Boston. He's putting some change on the Boston Bruins. From Kevin the Medium.
Kevin the Medium.
He says, if Vegas wins a cup before my Canucks, I am done with hockey. Yes, I am being irrational. But dang it, earn a cup. Vegas was handed a path to the cup and blew it. Back in line, punks, he says. We need to, I feel like, getting more Canucks talk on here and watch more games. I mean, with the Matthew Sakaris interview late last week was a very popular hit with us. But you got the Seattle. I would worry less about Vegas winning a Stanley Cup and more about the Seattle Kraken. And look at the way that they're playing right now. They're in the same division as the Vancouver Canucks. That would drive me the wildest if I was a Canucks fan and my team was worse than the Seattle Kraken.
I guess it goes back to what he was talking about when Vegas was, I don't know if they were given a path, but that's what happens when you have a team that doesn't really have, I guess, the depth. They hadn't played together long enough to know how to pull it together when things started to slide. That's what happened to Vegas. The same thing's going to happen to Seattle. It's not going to go on forever.
Well, it's going on this year, and good for them. Do you hear the band warming up?
Yes.
Starting to get excited for the football game?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl goes tonight, 7:30 Eastern at Howard Schnellenberger Stadium. Beautiful facility in Boca Raton. From our viewers, and what a great chat it was with Joey Yawk earlier. He's now a Liberty Flames broadcaster, formerly a Liberty Flames coach, and before that played in the CFL. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I did a little research and had no idea that Ray Yawk was 6th all-time head coaching wins in the CFL with 127. He's a dog. Ray Yawk, and nobody knows him. And it's funny, nobody over the age of 40, or under the age of 40, I guess. And by the way, let me Google this. Or I said to my brother the other day, I got Joey Yawk coming on. Remember him? And he's like, oh, yeah, his dad was Ray. He goes, he looks exactly like Uncle Gary.
Is that what your Uncle Gary looks like?
Our Uncle Gary looks like Ray Yawk. Exactly. So my brother knows him, if that means anything. From Stephen in North Dakota, he says, I'm glad my father took me to a Rider game in the 90s and I found RP on the radio.
Wow.
Make you feel old.
How about
Thank you.
that?
That's a good thing. And now you found us here, so I appreciate that. Stephen goes on to say, before satellite, the only CFL coverage I could access is over the air in North Dakota with CBC TV and radio. So yes.
It stretches. When we did weather for CKRM, we had to say everything in Celsius and Fahrenheit because of our American viewers or listeners.
And Willie Cole's retentiveness.
That's a good word.
From Weed and Wrestling writes in and says, as an Edmonton Oilers fan, Jack Campbell terrifies me. You're vindicated in feeling that way. I don't argue. But you know what? Mike Smith did with me too. And come back with overtime where we'll let it all hang out with your comments and viewer takeover. It's the RP Show, live from the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It is overtime. Serena Taylor with us here, hockey analyst, and don't mind the boys in the band and gals. They're tuning up for the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. You said there's no parking lot back there where they're practicing? You don't know?
I can't imagine where they're practicing other than in their rooms because there's 150. Ash just said there's 150 band members. It's wild and sounds like it too.
The game tonight is at 7:30 Eastern. It's Toledo versus Liberty in the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Our poll question today, because overtime is always fun for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. The poll question for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Whose retro reverse NHL jersey is better? And if you don't mind, guys, can you throw them up on the screen? I voted for Philly, but to me it's tight, and 65% of respondents are voting for those Pittsburgh Penguins classic 90s jerseys. I'm kind of a sucker for the 80s Philly Flyers. I think Moose said he was voting for Philly. Serena, your vote, please. Oh, he said Pittsburgh? Okay, I think I said Philly. I can't remember. It's again, all I want is the LA Kings to win. I don't care about the other teams. But what do you think of when you see those jerseys?
When I heard you say that you thought of Lemieux, that was exactly what I think when I see that old logo. And then the Flyers, I just think disdain. I'm not a Flyers fan, nor am I a Penguins fan. If I had to choose, I'd say Pittsburgh probably hit it better. But Philly, they can't really do too much with theirs. They don't change it too much, which I appreciate as well. When I saw those light blue Habs jerseys, I nearly had a heart attack.
That's not your thing. You're right.
I said the Habs will never do that. 2 days later, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, tomorrow is the last day of the first round of our bracket, and we will be pitting the Winnipeg Jets up against the Colorado Avalanche on the last day of the bracket. So be tuned in for that. I don't know how or why this came up. Allie in Texarkana writes in. She says, "Let's go, Pens." Oh, in this vote, obviously, is what she's talking about. Not on the ice.
I thought Allie was sleeping. I hadn't heard from her all day.
Yeah, she just got up. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, "I believe the only non-original 6 teams to win a cup before the Calgary Flames were Philadelphia, the Islanders, and Edmonton." Maybe
before
the Flames. You got to dig real deep.
Philadelphia, Edmonton.
Watt.
Yeah,
he's got it right.
Yeah.
Tonight's games. I'll say it again. 2 college football games tonight. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl featuring Eastern Michigan versus San Jose State, and then the Boca Raton Bowl here in the WHL tonight for our viewers and friends out all across Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. Prince Albert Raiders at the Saskatoon Blade. Medicine Hat at Lethbridge. Where's my cousin Christine from Medicine Hat? Speaking of people sleeping
It's a good point. It's a good point.
From also Edmonton at Red Deer, Victoria at Vancouver, Kamloops at Kelowna, and to the National Hockey League, which is your specialty. 8-game slate. Rangers at the Pittsburgh Penguins, Columbus at Philadelphia, Tampa Bay at Toronto, the New Jersey Devils are at Carolina, Ottawa at Winnipeg, St. Louis at Seattle, Anaheim at the LA Kings, and Calgary at San Jose. We're very big in a couple of other regions beyond Saskatchewan, which is our largest region for viewership, but Manitoba's one, and obviously Alberta. I need your take on the Calgary Flames, who finally ended a 5-game losing streak with a win at San Jose the other night. They won their Sunday night. I believe it was 5-2. They play there again tonight. The Flames are not in a playoff spot today. We're almost at the Christmas break. How concerned should they be? Could you take off your Oiler glasses for a second and analyze this?
I'm going to sit here for a minute and just enjoy what you just said. But I won't get cocky because I get it. I've been there as an Oilers fan. Should the Flames be concerned? Yes. There's a disconnect there somewhere. We talked about how the Flames won this trade with the Panthers and how everything is going well. And what is the disconnect? I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out. However, I wouldn't count them out just yet.
No, of course not.
There's still something that's going to happen, I think, that's going to spark them a little bit. You can't have that many talented players and have them not do anything. We know if the Leafs are in that position, nothing's going to change because that's the way the Leafs are. I can't count Calgary out yet.
Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, I'm going to give some props to Serena. She gives great fitness and motivational advice on her Instagram. She's a great follow. So because you come on here, I'll let you pump that up. Why don't you do that?
Well, my Instagram is coach_Serena, and my company is Eat Fitness. I do online fitness and nutrition coaching, so I have clients all over the place. But that was really nice. Thank you for that little plug there. Thanks for following.
From Weed and Wrestling, the account says, pretty cool co-host, Rod. I don't know. You ever been called cool before?
He was probably talking about Joey.
I think
Joey was pretty cool because he's wearing his shades.
From Jeff, the Stamps fan says, whatever happened to the Christmas Day Hula Bowl? Hey, last minute of play in the RP show. Don't get me going on that. Christmas Day this year is, of course, a Sunday, her birthday. And there was a big debate on the radio down here about the NFL stealing the NBA's thunder on Christmas Day, playing on Christmas Day this year. And it's like, well, it's a Sunday in December. It falls right in line with your schedule. They're not stealing anything. Thank you, Ryan O'Radio in Noonan, Georgia. He says, another great show, RP and crew. Appreciate it. What do we got coming up tomorrow, Clark? What do we got? Nick Alberga and Rod Black. Nick Alberga, formerly of the Leafs pre- and post-game radio network. Now he's from Leafs Nation. And we all know Rod Black, don't we? Serena, I hope you had fun.
I did.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your help today.
My pleasure.
Thanks to our entire crew. Thanks for Ash for having us. Liberty University for inviting us. Joey Yock for his CFL stories, pickleball stories, and all the rest. Enjoy the Boca Bowl. See you tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Beautiful. Let's go.